Welcome our guest this morning. He's the Senior Policy Officer for World Food Security, Agri-Trade and Maritime, Mr. Francisco Meri. Sir, if you can hear me, good morning and thanks for joining us.
Good morning from Germany.
Good. And how are you doing?
Do you hear me?
I'm asking, how are you doing, sir?
Yes, I'm doing well. It's early in the morning, a sunny day.
But before we zoom into the discussion about Africa, the development of Africa, and all there is, let me find out from you, how does coups or wars or crisis affect the security of food?
Yes, thank you for invitation. I'm working in a German church-related NGO, and we are very much engaged on agriculture, food security in all the world, especially in Africa, also in your country, Ghana, and on fisheries too. And we have seen that especially since the Russian attack to Ukraine, when the world food prices rised up, that the whole world was affected in high pricing of food, especially in your country. Everybody feels how difficult it is to pay daily food. And conflicts are, however, if you see conflicts we have seen in Ethiopia and everywhere, but also in northern Nigeria and northern Cameroon, that conflicts are always a reason for farmers to reduce their activity. Some of them are losing their land, their harvest is destroyed. So conflicts, not only at far away, like at the moment in Ukraine, are always affecting the prices and the amount of the supply of food markets.
Now, we hear about food insecurity and food scarcity. Are they the same?
It should not happen that scarcity and insecurity are the same. But the problem, if you look to the whole world, is that we have enough food. If you look to the quantity of food which is produced in the world, we have more than double we need for food on calories, but half of the food harvested is not used directly for human consumption. Part of them is a large part, 30% of food produced in the world is used for feed, for cattle, for animals to produce meat. Another 30% is used for fuel, for biofuels, and 30% are harvested but never arrive the markets because we have large harvest losses in the fields because lack of transport, lack of cooling, lack of storage. So half of food produced in the world, it's not really directly consumed by people. So scarcity should not have effect because there is enough in the world, even in Africa. The problem is it never arrives. Food insecurity should not happen as we have enough to eat.
Now, trying to find out few things about food insecurity, I came across something that was put together in Switzerland that most people facing food insecurity are unemployed. How true is this?
Yes, the dependency of people also in Ghana and the high prices one of the reasons are really the import dependency, not only on food, but also farmers depend on inputs. This means that the fertilizer prices, the pesticides, and even seed are imported and not used what your agriculture could give you as inputs. So the high prices of input, like fertilizers, which are based on fossil energy, are really very high. So farmers have to sell their yields to high prices. The other thing is that in times of high prices, if you are dependent on food imports, like Ghana is, for example, for vegetables, for grain, for maize, for meat, for also for chicken parts, in that time of worldwide high prices, your dependency forces you to pay more for this food. So import dependency is one of the main reasons in Africa, especially also in West Africa, for food insecurity.
Now, so based on that dependency on food imports, Ghana actually import food, grains from Russia, and a lot from Ukraine. How can the Russia-Ukraine war affect food security, especially in West Africa?
Yes, at the moment, the world price on grain is again low, but it can change from one day to another. And as you have very low storage capacities, you have to buy and pay the daily price of grain. And yesterday, for example, Russia attacked a vessel with grain from Turkey. So if the region, the Black Sea, becomes really a hot spot on war, then both countries which need to pass the Black Sea to come to Africa, for example, with their vessels, could be affected. If Ukraine and Russia are not exporting, then the price of wheat will jump up. So even if you are then buying from Argentina or from the US or from the European Union, you have to pay a very high price. At the moment, this is not the case, but it could be from one day to another. We have seen it at the beginning of the war, that the price for grains has doubled from $250 to nearly $500. And this you have to pay, your bakeries have to pay, your importers have to pay, and so this can heavily affect again the price of bread, of pasta, and a lot of daily food you need based on grain imports.